what's going on in the world today, then you've come to the right place. Welcome to Southern Sense Talk Radio with your host, Annie, the Radio Chick-A-Dee, and featuring Curtis C.S. Bennett and the most interesting guests that you'll find anywhere on Internet radio. So sit back, relax, and remember, Southern Sense is common sense.
And welcome back to another adventure here on Southern Sense. You're watching live. I don't even know where we are anymore. We're up on Facebook, X, Twitter. I don't know. Just go to southernsense.net and you'll find us. I'm your hostess with the least most is the Radio Chick-A-Dee, along with my co-host. He's going, oh God, here goes. She messes up another entry. Curtis C.S. Bennett. Did we lose your sound, Curtis? We lost your sound again. Oh, wait a minute. We didn't unmute you. It does help if we unmute you. You got to unmute yourself? It's on your side, Curtis. You're muted.
All right.
There you go. There we go. Hey, we finally started the show.
Yeah, we're just happy to get over these two hurricanes and everything's back to normal practically.
Yeah. Yeah, Annie messes up the entry as normal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got ourselves a jam-packed show today. We have former Florida Lieutenant Governor Jennifer Carroll joining us again. She'll be on the first part of the show. And we have someone new, R.D. Turner, or Roland Turner. He's a disabled veteran, but he's also a rising Nashville star. And he's got some great songs out that are pro-Trump songs, but we're not going to tell you too much about him. Matter of fact, a friend of mine stopped by the house yesterday and she's showing me all her bumper stickers or stuff all over her car. I mean, she's got her car papered. And one of her stickers, I'm looking at it and go, that's the name of the song of the guy coming on the show tomorrow. So there's a sticker out for it already.
Yeah, so he's well known already.
Well, I think it just happens to be a coincidence, but hey, it's a good plug for him. And I want to end the show with my friend, Gregory Wrightstone with the CO2 Coalition. He's now the executive director over there. We'll find out about this climate change hoax. So we got a lot to do and a lot to talk about. And oh my gosh. And I think that the story that's going all over the mainstream media is Kamala Harris and her interviews, if you want to call them what they were.
Salad shows.
Oh, geez. There's a lot to talk about there. That we can get into with Jennifer Carroll. Some other things that are coming up. This is interesting. This just came across just today. Let me get the article over here. There are 20 states suing the Biden administration. And we've been talking to a lot of people about their voter rolls and illegal aliens on them, and people that are not supposed to be on there. Well, 20 states are now suing the Biden administration with a lawsuit over their forcing them to not clean the voter rolls. They're saying that you can't touch it within so many days of an election. And it plans to expand. This is the Biden administration is planning to expand their parole program, which would allow an additional 120,000 immigrants from 4 countries to apply for admission to the United States, entered into our country every month. Every month. And in 10 months, that's 1.2 million that they're going to allow parole into the United States. These are illegal aliens. And once they come here, they are registering to vote.
Democrat.
There was an article someone had posted from, I believe it was Michigan, that they lined up at this one county voter office. They didn't speak English. They couldn't even tell you what their address was because they just got their documents. They literally did not know what their own address was. And they're registering to vote. And the Biden administration is doing anything and everything to get them onto the voter rolls. So the 20 states, let's see, Texas has filed the initial one, and the American First Legal Group. They filed it, and then it was followed by Alabama, Alaska, Arkansas, Florida, Idaho, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Ohio, South Carolina, Tennessee, Utah, West Virginia, and Wyoming. So if your state is not one of these I just mentioned, get a hold of your state attorney general and tell them to enter into this lawsuit. It's important we keep the integrity of our voter rolls so that only Americans vote on American issues or even on our national security. That's an American issue. But we can't have illegal aliens coming over that are enemies of our nation, participating in our electoral process to elect our president, our senators, our representatives, our judges. This affects us not just on the national level, but on the state and local level.
Well, to me, that shows that the left do not abide by our existing laws. They always try to usurp our laws for their benefit. And I don't think it's going to work this time. It did a couple of years ago, but I think it's a different climate now, political climate.
Well, let's hope. Let's hope. And like I said, if you're not one of these states, and this article I pulled up from the Washington Examiner, this lawsuit was actually slapped on back in January of 23, and it's still ongoing, and it may go up to the Supreme Court. So this has been an ongoing fight. And there are certain states that are fighting to clean. And I believe Nevada was one of them that was fighting to clean up their voter rolls, but they were being hampered. And Nevada is not on this lawsuit. They should be. Well, any state, because it was just by a few thousand votes that Nevada went the other way. So let's see. Hey, Kerry Lake, Nevada.
So what are they saying? That are they basing this that it's too close to the election as an excuse?
They're using it as an excuse that it's too close to the election to purge the voter rolls. And we should have been doing this every month. Every month. You get people that move out of state and they forget. Fine. And there's a way for you to check to see whether or not you are still registered in your old state. It's easy to do. And I did it. I mean, after a couple of years I've been living here, I said, let me just double check. I did. And it was change. I was taken off the voter rolls as it probably should be. But there are people that are registered to vote in 2 states, may or may not know it. And we need to keep the integrity of these elections. Anyway, that said, for those that watch the show know that we start each and every show with a dedication to a fallen hero. And today's dedication is going to go out to police officer Kyle Hicks of Corpus Christi, Texas. His end of watch was Wednesday, April 24th of this year. And this is his dedication.
Officer Hicks is a hero to the city of Corpus Christi, and it's devastating. This is one of our darkest hours. I asked the community, everybody in Corpus Christi, to join me and my family in keeping his 4 dear children and his wife in prayer. We lost a hero today, and it's a stark reminder of the life and death risks that our police officers face every single day. And so today we join in prayer, and we raise him up. We raise him up as a true hero of this city and his family and his children.
Again tonight, continuing our coverage into the loss of one of our first responders, Officer Kyle Hicks of the Corpus Christi Police Department.
It was announced by the department late this afternoon that Officer Hicks had died. That loss being felt not just here in our community, but by several others across South Texas and beyond.
So tonight here is a live look outside the police department headquarters there on John Sartain Street in downtown Corpus Christi. As you can see here, a police unit symbolically parked outside of the station in honor of the 2-year veteran of the police force. As you can see, flowers have been placed atop the vehicle. Community members are outside paying their respects.
Officer Hicks leaves behind a wife and 4 children. Over the last several days, we've seen a tremendous amount of support pouring in for the officer and his family, something that will likely remain unwavering during the difficult days ahead. It was around 12:30 last Saturday morning when Officer Hicks and other police officers responded to a domestic disturbance at a Southside apartment complex. Hicks was shot by the suspect. That man was killed when the other officers returned fire. Hicks has been in the hospital ever since. The news of his passing came in late this afternoon. Hicks is the first CCPD officer to be shot and killed in the line of duty since 1987.
City of Corpus Christi Mayor Paulette Guajardo speaking with us about Officer Hicks tonight, asking the community to pray for his parents, wife, and children, as well as the department. She also talked about the responsibility that those with the badge bear each day.
Don't underestimate the importance of every single officer that you see on the street. One call and they can encounter absolutely anything on the other side of that call. So appreciate them, be grateful for them, and remember that it is they who protect us every single day, and it is their families who don't know. They have no guarantee that they are going to come home every night or every day.
Now, over the last several hours, words of support and messages for the officers' loved ones and department flooding in over social media from elected officials, fellow law enforcement agencies coming in from across the Coastal Bend region, as well as other parts of Texas and even out of state.
The family tonight is asking for prayers and privacy. Services have not yet been announced. Since the shooting happened, a GoFundMe had been set up to help the Hicks family, and to this point, that help is not slowed. However, tonight, that GoFundMe now reads in honor of Kyle Hicks.
A somber message sharing in part, quote, "We mourn the loss of a great husband, father, son, friend, and co-worker. At this hour, donations continue to come in support of his family, currently at over $89,000.
Let it be said, when we finish this race, we kept them free, we led with grace. Let it be seen, from sea to shining sea, beautiful America, living our legacy. Oh, father, mother, sister, brother, oh, we gotta learn to love each other. Oh, for the soul of the nation, for all the next generation. Let us be known as people of honor, humble and bold, faithful through fire. Let us hold firm to our convictions with wide open hearts, eager to listen. Oh, father, mother, sister, standing strong. Let it be said, when we finish this race, we kept them free, yeah. We led with grace. Oh, father, mother, sister, brother. Oh, we gotta learn to love each other. Oh, for the soul of the nation. For all the next generation. Let it be said. Oh, father, mother, sister, brother. Oh, we gotta learn to love each other. Oh, for the soul of the nation. For all the next generation.
All right, and we are back. We managed to make it through. You're here listening to Southern Sense live on Facebook, X, Twitter, Twitch, I don't know, on our homepage, southernsense.net. We're in half a dozen different places, as well as up on Substack, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and all over the place. So just tune in, just go to southernsense.net and watch us there and catch what the latest is. I'm the hostess with the least mostest, the Radio Chick-A-Dee, Annie, along with my courageous co-host, Curtis C.S. Bennett.
That would be me.
Oh, man. It has been one hectic morning, and so the listeners know I run a cat house.
Yeah, me too.
Well, at least that's what we call it. I just adopted a 7th cat. It seemed to have been astray around the neighborhood. And for a couple of weeks, even my mother noticed it. The cat was wandering the neighborhood. It had a collar. It looked very well fed. I thought it was a kitten, like about maybe 6 months old or so. And then over the past week or so, I've noticed it's been coming around, but no collar. And my cats would be looking out the front door, and he'd come up to the door like he wanted to come in. And I'd start to leave food for him, and he made it a habit of now coming to my house. And it was almost like clockwork. And I sat down on the front porch one morning, and he comes right up onto my lap. He's starting to come. I said, wait a minute. And I'm looking at this guy, and he's starting to get a little bit skinnier. So someone wasn't feeding him. I was the only one feeding him, it looks like. And I managed to catch him yesterday, finally, because when he did jump on the lap, he'd only be there for like a second or two, and then he'd jump off. But this time he allowed me to pick him up and hold him. And I got him in the house. I put him separate from the other cats. And this morning I took him to the vet, and he's got some infection on his gums because he wasn't being fed properly. Lord knows what he was trying to eat. So I've got antibiotics for that. But we adopted a 7th cat. My husband, myself, and my mom. We have 7 cats in the house.
Oh, that's good.
So,
That's good. I mean, did you hear about one of those, Helene, I believe it was? Somebody left a dog chained to the fence
to the
or something
fence.
like
That
that. And that
person
was
should be criminally prosecuted.
and there was a flood coming, and fortunately, somebody in the neighborhood rescued that dog, or would
Good.
have drowned.
Good. I mean, it bothers me when I see dogs chained to a fence to begin with. I mean, if you got a nice yard or something like that, let them loose in the yard. You just make sure you keep the gates closed. I have a neighbor who has dogs, and when he first moved in, those dogs were running all over the place. And now my mom, she's 92, she'd be sitting on the front deck just to get a little sun.
Mhm.
And here she's got this big bruising dog jumping onto the front deck. She's frail. She's a little tiny thing. And one day I went out to get the mail, and the dog started to come charging at me. I'm sorry, I'm not putting up with that. And in the strongest, sternest voice, I said, no, stop. And I turned around, I barked at the dog, and I said, sit, and the dog sat. And the owner looks at me like, you know, you better come and get this guy. I says, I got a mom that sits out there and the dog's jumping up on the front porch. You can't have that. He did put up a fence, thankfully. But if people can't take care of their pets, they should not own them. They shouldn't. So, I mean, I go so far that all my cats have pet insurance. And that's a whole nother story, because I did have my insurance up until today through MetLife. And what they pulled on me, I would not recommend MetLife and pet insurance to anyone. To anyone. Even though I have my life insurance through them, and I have a pension, it's not a big one, from American Express, it's processed through MetLife. I'm no longer buying any other MetLife products. So that's it. They're off the board. I would not even tell someone to go buy MetLife insurance anymore. Forget it. You can take Snoopy and put it where the sun don't shine. Even though I like Snoopy, no harm, no. I'm going to be told I hate dogs. No,
Yeah.
I just no longer like MetLife.
Snoopy saying, "Don't blame me."
No, I went with the ASPCA. They're more expensive, but they got more coverage, and they're all covered, all 7 of them. Yes, I bought insurance for 7 cats. I'm crazy. Anyway, let's get back to the news of the day. Now I'm looking to see. Oh, here's a very interesting article. It looks like this DEI, the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion programs that we've been attacking as conservatives since their birth are now failing. This is from this one guy visited the University of Michigan. And I'm trying to see where this article came from. I thought it was from the New York Times. I'm pretty sure this was Nicholas Confessori. And I did not print out who this came from. But this looks like the New York Times, honestly.
So what did it say?
Well, basically, he went and visited the University of Michigan and found out that instead of getting more minority students registered, it had the exact opposite effect, especially when dealing with the Black population. A drastic drop. And then they saw an increase in complaints of people because they didn't feel like they were being talked to in the proper tone of voice or whatever. All of a sudden, this is what the Democrats do and the liberals, progressives do on the left. They find ways to divide us rather than finding ways to unite us. We used to describe ourselves here in the United States as a melting pot. It didn't matter where you came from. We all here now are Americans, for what an American stands for. And what is that? We have learned to be colorblind. We're human beings. I mean, we have our preferences. You know, I happen to prefer slender men. Well, it doesn't explain my late husband, my current husband. You know, people have preferences. They like blue eyes or blonde hair or whatever. Some like them heavy, some like them slim. That's a personal preference. That is not hatred. That is not bigotry. And people tend to, you know, what is the word I'm trying to think of? Gravitate. They turn to gravitate to people of like interests. It doesn't mean we're being bigots. We're human beings. We have personal likes and dislikes. That's not bigotry. But yet we unite ourselves as Americans because we all have equal voice. We try to treat each and every one of us equally. Does it always succeed? No, but we're human. We make mistakes and we learn from those mistakes. If we didn't learn from those mistakes, we would never have had our Declaration of Independence. We never would have had our Constitution. We would have never had the Civil War that brought freedom to millions of people. We would have never have had our civil rights legislation that tried to make an equal playing field for everyone. And that's what we look to do, make an equal playing field. But with this DEI, you're all given participation trophies. But we're also in a meritocracy. We try to succeed to our highest level. And there's certain things we dream about that we try to obtain that we can't always obtain. We may not have the talent or the knowledge, but at least we can try. And
Well, you know, the beautiful thing about the United States and our choices and the choices that we have, you can live in an area where people are like you. You know, it's a cultural thing. Like if you go to some of the urban cities, you got a Chinese American side or Chinatown. You have a part where it's all Irish. Then you have Italian, Spanish, Black. But if you decide you want to live somewhere else, you have that choice.
Mhm. You do. You can choose where to live. It's your choice. You can choose the life you want to lead. It is your choice. You can choose who to vote for. It is from we the people up, not from the government down. And I'm sorry,
Mhm,
if I turn around and don't remember your name or misidentify you, that's not a reason to put me in handcuffs or fine me.
mhm.
If I'm looking at you and I see you, Curtis, and I say, sir, and all of a sudden you turn around and say, well, that's not my pronoun. I'm puppy dog. I'm sorry. All right. If that's the way you want to be addressed, all right, fine. You're puppy dog. But you don't ostracize a person because the wrong pronoun is used. You know, it has gotten to the point where people are finding injury when no injury was intended. And the DEI programs are just proving that instead of finding ways to make people more acceptable to each other, more tolerant, it's only promoting intolerance.
True.
And this one university went from a handful of people in the DEI department to be the largest department in the university. For what? For a failed program? So they're doing the same thing that progressives do. If something's not working, if something's failing, what do? They throw more money at it. You hire more people to monitor and control a program that's not working. If it's not working, get rid of it and try something else.
I'm surprised they didn't make it mandatory. Usually that's the way the politics are.
No,
They
oh,
can't
that,
get you
that's
to do something, they mandate it.
oh, that's one of the things they did. They used to have a statement that when the university hired you, you had to give them your DEI statement.
Mm.
I'm sorry. What happened to freedom of speech? What happened to freedom of speech? I'm sorry. I prefer the Mets over the Yankees. Does that make me insensitive? I prefer watching NASCAR over watching volleyball. And so what? So what? We're different people, but we're united on one presence. Premise. God, I'm starting to talk like Kamala Harris with word salad. No, let's not go that far.
You're not even close.
Oh, geez. But yeah, the premise is that we are American. You know, when you look at us, we see us uniquely as people that are fiercely independent, fiercely proud of our freedoms, and the ability to say what we want. I may not agree with it. Matter of fact, I may hate it, but I will defend to the death your right to be as stupid as you want to be. And,
Mm.
but no, they don't do that in the reverse. If they don't agree with us, we will be called every single name in the book. We don't do that. I mean, the worst thing I'm going to call you is progressive liberal or the left.
Well, really, that's the party of hate. In other words, if you don't agree with them, I mean, they will come after you with a vengeance. It's all about intimidating you, chastising you, and like Barack Obama to black men talking down to you.
Yeah, yeah. And Kamala Harris, oh God, this is something else we can talk when Jennifer calls in. Even Kamala Harris is trying to get people to help her sway the black male vote. And so what does she do? One of the most insensitive, thoughtless things. Oh, let's legalize marijuana, and this will get me the black male vote. I mean, I'm sorry, Kamala Harris, did you just say that black male population, the young men male population here in the United States, has a problem with smoking pot? You just call them a bunch of potheads, junkies? I'm sorry. And you want their vote?
She's really out of touch with the black community because she was never a part of it.
No, no. Oh, yeah, I love this one. She's also for reparations. All right, she's pushing for that again. What is her heritage? She's Caribbean, correct? And her ancestors, weren't they the largest slaveholding plantation on that island? So when it comes from reparations, maybe from your inheritance or maybe your paycheck, since you are a direct descendant of a slaveholder, maybe you should be the one paying reparations, not those of us that had nothing to do with slavery. How's that?
Well, the sad thing is that a lot of people that follow the Democrats, they are misinformed and uninformed. I mean, it's evident to me every time I speak to a Democrat that they don't know what the heck they're talking about.
Nope. Nope.
There
And
she is.
there she is, the one, the only, the marvelous Jennifer Carroll, the former Lieutenant Governor of Florida and a good friend of the show. How are you doing today, Jennifer?
I am truly blessed. What about you guys?
All right.
I've been having one of those days. Anything that can go. But that's every time I come on air.
Well, you know what? You just accept it. Embrace it.
Oh, yeah.
Man, we were just doing a rant on Kamala Harris and how she's so for reparations. And I find it very ironic, being someone who is from the Caribbean, you'd understand and appreciate this. But if I remember correctly, her ancestry was from a slaveholding family, the largest plantation holder on the island. And yet she's turning around and promoting reparations like she's one of those that have been hurt because of slavery. No, her family benefited from it. So my question was, well, then why doesn't her family pay the reparations, leave the rest of us that had nothing to do with slavery alone?
Well, we just have to call it what it is. Election season pandering. Just like the student loan, just like every handout, whether you want to give forgiveness loans or you want to give marijuana to people to smoke or whatever, it's just election season pandering. And voters must reject this sort of pandering, because if it was important to Kamala Harris as vice president and as senator for these particular issues, why didn't she bring it up in this period of time when she had the power to do something about it? Now she's running for president. You want to give away taxpayers' money for an idea or a feeling or an emotion to fear people and or to have the emotional vote hat on when they go to the polls. But I think this time around, voters are smarter than the Democrats are giving them credit for, because they've seen this sort of pandering and campaigning and promising throughout the years with no deliverance. The only deliverance they've seen in recent time, and they can compare Kamala Harris's record as vice president to President Trump's record as president. People have tangible results that they actually saw on their kitchen table. They saw in their wallets. They saw as economic empowerment. They saw their communities with safety and security. So they have actual tangible items that they can compare what they achieved on the Trump and what they did not achieve on the Kamala Harris.
You know, I've been following a lot of stuff going on with this. And last night, Harris Faulkner on Fox News had two gentlemen on. They were African Americans, and both of them happened to have been Democrats. And I'm looking at them, and they're openly admitting that they're going to vote for Trump because of those very economic kitchen table issues. They're voting with their wallets. And I think that's what we're going to see across the board. The only problem that bothers me is the influx of the illegal aliens we are now finding entering our voting rolls.
And it's across the country, because not every state is getting into the federal system to balance their voting rolls against those to make sure that those people that have actually registered to vote are in fact citizens. And the other thing too that are you there? I just lost you.
Yeah, there you go.
The other thing too that because I spoke with my supervisor of elections yesterday, because I had a speaking engagement a couple days ago, and an immigration attorney asked the question, for these illegals that are getting driver's license with a star on there. That star means that they've been verified in the system in places like California and Pennsylvania and others that are giving illegals these driver's license when they come to a state, other states. Does that mean, because he said these people told him that they will register to vote or they are going to register to vote. So I wanted to verify that with the supervisor of elections to find out, is it an automatic when they bring in their driver's license from another state with this star that is automatically assumed that they are a naturalized or a legal resident? And he said, in the state of Florida, we have some precautions that they have to go through. It's not automatic, but other states are not verifying that and accepting the driver's license as that they have been verified to be a legal citizen in the state, in the country, in that particular state, to vote. That terrifies me because how many people have received these driver's license and how many states are not bouncing their roles with the federal government to ensure that these individuals are in fact citizens. There's a lot because, as a matter of fact, my supervisor told me this federal system that they can verify citizenship is only 5 states uses it. That's 5 out of 50. Now that's alarming. All 50 ought to be using it because the integrity of the voting should be an honored and sacred thing that all Americans that have come through this country legally, have acquired a naturalization like I did and my family did legally, paid all the fees and went through the process and waited all the years in line. Now you have these line breakers that are coming through, getting assistance from our tax dollars, getting more than our poor people and our poor veterans and our homeless people are getting, than from hotel rooms to education to healthcare to assistance to go to a grocery store, the gambit. And that's why they're saying Social Security, the pot of Social Security money is going to be non-existent in about 20, 30 years. But what they're doing is playing a shell game in Washington, D.C. to give and buy votes. Now, the other day, Bill Clinton said something very prophetic. He said, we need these illegals because we're not producing enough children in this country to provide a workforce. Now, you cannot have it both ways. You can't push for abortion and say that we have to have that as a norm as far as a form of birth control, and then turn around and say we're not producing enough children to either pay into Social Security and or to have a workforce. So which one do
Bingo.
you want? Yeah, do you want to have this country be made up of a whole bunch of people that is not coming in to embrace assimilation or coming in to truly be a part of the functionality of building a strong nation of America? Most of these people that are coming in have an ulterior motive, another agenda. And you can't fault those that are coming through that want to have a better way of life. But there's a process. When they say that the immigration system is broken, no one on the Republican or Democrat side ever says what's broken about it. What is broken in the immigration process? Is it that we need to have more processing centers to have people come through? That we need to have a greater amount of immigrants coming through and as fast a streamline of them coming through it? Or is it broken in such that you want the whole wall to come down and have everybody walk through? So when people say that our immigration system is broken, the question needs to be asked, what is broken about it? And if you know it's broken and you know what's broken, then let's fix that to make it a better immigration system. But we cannot reward people for the first act is breaking a federal law and coming into the country illegally.
Yeah, you said everything I have been screaming. I mean, you want the workforce to come in, and yet you don't let us produce our own workforce. So you want us to value the life of someone who breaks the law. We have no guarantee that they have our best interest in mind. And yet here we want to give life to our nation from fellow Americans. And you say, no, it's woman's choice. But who's speaking up for the preborn child? An innocent person who has done nothing wrong at all is not given that choice.
But
And
you
we're
see, also,
and what nation? Tell me what one nation that in this world that has an open border like we have?
None, absolutely none. And as you mentioned about the abortion issue, they're conflating it with women's health issues. Abortion is not a woman's health issue. Abortion is abortion. It is what it is. Women's health issue are the various things in OBGYN, etc., that deals with a woman. So therefore, when they want to inject women's health issues in this abortion conversation, they're again going to the emotions of, oh, if I want an abortion, that's a health issue and I'm not going to be able to be seen. There is not one emergency room in this country that can legally turn away anyone, a woman, man, even a foreigner, to turn away in an emergent situation. Everyone who has an emergent situation in a hospital, regardless of if it's an abortion or elsewhere, otherwise, will be treated, will be cared for.
Absolutely. And as you said, it is not a health issue. A health issue is when the life or the health of the mother and or child is in danger.
Correct.
Then that becomes a health issue. And should it result in the loss of that child, then that is the medical decision that has to be made during that emergency. But if you just become pregnant, I'm sorry, Curtis, not you. In general, you. But if you or I were to become pregnant and it was our decision to terminate that, what was the decision based upon? You didn't feel like raising a child, then you shouldn't have had the relationship. Financially, that maybe you should have been working towards having a better living before you became pregnant. It is a decision you made, but once that decision is made and you have that child, it no longer is your decision, I personally feel, to give up that life voluntarily just because you don't feel like being pregnant.
Well, here's the other egregious thing about it is that in some states, you can take abortion up to the delivery of that child. And that in that point, in my view, now you are murdering an innocent
Exactly. That's
being.
that is absolute murder. That
It
is first
is.
degree murder.
And you
And
And
have
that
people
is
that don't believe that that exists, but it does exist in some states.
yeah, I know, because we passed it in New York where we finally had it where it would be a criminal charge if the child was harmed or killed in the commission of a crime. We just lost Jennifer again. What happened? We lost her again. She's got to have a problem with her camera.
connection.
Jennifer, if you can hear us, your camera just went black.
But
I guess.
anyway, they always talk about our side being evil, and the thing is, what they do, like abortion, is evil, and for them to always go after Trump and make him sound like he's the next Hitler, to come to the United States. Do they forget that the man was president for 4 years already? What did he
Yeah,
do that was all these things they say he's going to do?
I don't know. We got Jennifer
You
back.
know,
Sure, her camera went out. Sorry
Okay.
about that,
he's back.
Jennifer. But we were echoing the same thing. In New York State, we fought to have that made a crime. But when New York State, you can't hear me? That's on your end. You can hear me, Curtis, right?
hmm
Yeah, it's Jennifer. Unfortunately, it's your end. I don't know what happened. She dropped out. We
She
only have a few minutes left before we bring our next guest in. I see him already in the green room. Um, but anyway, what was my train of thought? What was my train of thought? What was I saying now?
think you were talking
I for-
about abortion in New York.
oh yeah, but when they changed the law, they and have it now up until the time of birth that you can abort a child, they then negated the previous law where it would have made a crime to injure or kill an unborn or preborn fetus.
hmm
Okay. Well, Jennifer,
Can
we
you hear
got you
us?
back just for a few seconds left before we have to say goodbye.
Yeah.
But
Are you
where can
are you
people?
guys you're airing your student audience? Is it through Florida?
Oh, it's nationwide. It's
Well,
also
wonderful.
we.
I hope a lot of Floridians really pay attention to Amendment 3, which is a marijuana amendment. Now, keep in mind that when Morgan and Morgan brought this amendment some years ago to on the ballot to open up for medical marijuana, people complained that this was a gateway drug leading to recreational use. And they said, no, it's not. It's for my brother Tim and people like him that need this medical marijuana for, comfort, etc. And now here we are looking at recreational use under the disguise that it's going to pay for teachers and it's going to pay for our law enforcement. Keep in mind when we passed the lotto, the amendment to put the lotto in statute, it had already crafted how the money, where the money was going to go. In the bill for Amendment 3, there's nothing that says that the X amount of money from the sales of this marijuana is going to go to law enforcement or Y amount of money is going to go into teachers' pay and salaries. There's nothing in the Florida statute or no agreement with the state of Florida for any of the monies coming in, if it was to pass, to come in to go to the state and or whatever entity to give teachers and or law enforcement any money. So there's no language that's there, no agreement that's there. Like we have a compact with the Seminole Indians as to the funds that's coming in from their gambling, as well as a lotto, as to where that money is going to go and how it's going to be allocated. The other thing is that they said responsible adults, 21 years and older. Now, if that responsible adult is driving a car with an infant in the back seat and smoking that marijuana, we pass laws to stop secondhand smoke in public places, in a person's car, walking on the street, anywhere that that person is not congregated in a public space. That marijuana smoke is everywhere. Our children will be inhaling this. It's going to be secondhand smoke that people are getting from marijuana. I went to the streets of New York about 6 months ago. I had to wear, I don't like to wear a mask, but I had to wear a mask because the stench was awful for the marijuana smell everywhere. Just walking down from Times Square to the Macy's. I took an Uber back because I didn't even want to smell it on my way back from my walk. So the things that they're saying in the commercial, that 21 years and older, but they're not considering and factoring that secondhand smoke, that, and if they're in a home, even though it's a small amount that they said that the person can have legally without getting arrested, now you're subjecting the kids in the home. They want to equate it to alcohol. Alcohol, you cannot just pour it down a kid's throat. That will
Yeah.
be against the law. Marijuana, the kids will have no choice but to inhale this in the car, on the street. And then if somebody is smoking it on the sidewalk and they happen to be passing by a playground of some sort, what do you think is going to happen? The air moves, it travels. So people, don't be fooled by this. Also, too, marijuana is still against the law at the federal level. The
Yes.
federal government has not said that this is a legal drug to use. Additionally, this is a cash only business. So what's going to happen is that you're going to have more people that's fattening their pockets in a cash only business, and all the states and or federal government want to do is collect some of that revenue. Additionally, that you're going to have businesses that will want to get into this realm, but only those people with licenses that currently have licenses and or apply to the state for licenses will be able to cash out on this. It's not going to
Well,
stop any off the street and black market sale of
no.
marijuana. The bill
Well,
does
Jennifer,
not do that.
we gotta cut it go because I got my next guest in the green room. So vote no on the marijuana bill in
Amendment.
Florida ballot. Thank you so very much, and
Thank you.
we have to have you back very soon. God bless.
Bye-bye. God bless.
Take care. Jennifer Carroll, you can find her at jennifercarroll.com. That is her website. So bring on our next victim who's been waiting so patiently, and he's got his face hidden behind the microphone.
Oh,
so
there
we
it
can't
is.
even see what the heck he even looks like. Roland Turner, or known as RD Turner. How are you doing, Roland?
Hey, RD.
Fantastic. How you guys doing today?
All right.
All right. And thank you for your service. My co-host here is a Navy man.
Go Navy.
And I came out of NYPD. So the streets she was talking about in New York, I'm very familiar with.
What branch were you in?
I was in the Army.
Okay.
I will
love the
forgive you.
Army.
Yeah, 8 years. Yeah, 8 years in the Army.
You served in Afghanistan?
I've served a little bit everywhere. I was a Soviet military liaison officer.
Oh, wow. So you speak Russian?
I speak a little bit of everything. My Russian stuff.
Well, maybe we can get you a job with Trump's administration as a Russian advisor. How's that sound?
I'm certainly looking forward to the next 2 weeks so we can start turning this country around for sure.
I hope so. I hope so. From your lips to God's ears. I do pray that. What got you into becoming a recording artist?
Well, in 2008, I founded Global Music Group, which is part of Universal Records. And ever since I got out of the military, I've been involved in entertainment in one way or the other. I'm a multi instrumentalist, and I've toured with literally 100 different bands.
Oh, wow.
And I've wrote and produced over 300. I've produced 300 albums, and I've written, I can't tell you how many songs. And so I decided to do a solo album this year. And in the process of that, wrote a couple of songs that I think are pretty good for President Trump and J.D. Vance.
Oh, wow. Absolutely wonderful. What are some of the instruments you play?
I play drums, guitar, bass, keyboards, just about everything. I don't play steel guitar or fiddle, but I play most everything else.
Fiddle. I'm sorry. I call it a violin.
It's a violin, but in Nashville, it's a fiddle.
It's a fiddle. Well, see, the way I play it, it's a violin. I'd never be able to play the fiddle. I never could get the hang of that part of it. I was more classical. But Curtis is also musically inclined, too.
Okay. What do you play, Curtis?
I play trumpet.
Okay. Nice.
Yep. So every now and then he'll play the taps. Yeah. So we all do our part. But listen, you are a supporter of Trump, and you came up with a couple of songs, like you said, and one of them you have down here is called, let me make sure I've got this keyed up front.
I'm voting for an outlaw.
Yeah, wait a minute. That one just did not pop up. What happened to that? I've got Save America here. I know I uploaded this yesterday. Oh, my goodness. But let's do this one, Save America. You know what? I should have had your guy upload it to me. I have to apologize. I'm going to have to see if I can do something, a workaround on that way, and we can get that up on here also. So let's play this one that you have, Save America. Here we go.
Nightmare, liberty's dream. Schools turned into preaching grounds. History erased, can't hear the sounds. Guns stripped away by fearful stands, fighting that plague. Ain't no chance. God save America, Trump lead the way. Stand up strong, tell the truth, push the lies away. Flags tattered from deceitful wind. Censorship closes in. Voices silenced one by one, we fall down. Fight for freedom, don't let it drown. Rise of warriors, hearts full of pride. With faith and justice by our side. Liberals thinking they can control. Stand for truth, take back the soul. God save America, Trump lead the way. Stand up strong, tell the truth, push the lies away. God save America, Trump lead the way. Stand up strong, tell the truth, push the lies away. Ain't no chance. No chance. God save America, Trump lead the way. Stand up strong, tell the truth, push the lies away. Push the lies away. Push the lies away.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Now, who did you get to perform in this with you? Or did you do this all yourself?
My band, you know, I have 6 bandmates, and So they were working in the studio with me on it.
Oh, absolutely. Awesome. Awesome. I did find a workaround, and I'm looking at the clock. We got about 5 minutes left before our next guest is going to call in. So let me see if I can get this without screwing up too badly, because I've never done this in this program before, share a screen. So let me just see if I can get this. Come on.
Available. They're on all streaming platforms. You can also go to rdturner.com. The videos are there.
Oh, maybe I can get it. Let me try it this way again.
We've had enough, not gonna take it anymore. Sick of the lies, it's time to even the score. We're standing tall, ready to fight for the truth and justice will light up the night. I'm voting for an outlaw, a hillbilly too, America first, yeah, you know it's true. We're taking back our freedom, kicking down the door for the land of the brave. We'll stand forevermore. Voices rising, can't be ignored. United we stand, we'll never be bored. From the heartland to the city streets, we're marching on, won't accept defeat. I'm voting for an outlaw, a hillbilly too, America first, yeah, you know it's true. We're taking back our freedom, kicking down the door for the land of the brave. We'll stand forevermore. Voices rising, can't be ignored. United we stand, we'll never be bored. From the heartland to the city streets, we're marching on, won't accept defeat. I'm voting for an outlaw, a hillbilly too, America first, yeah, you know it's true. We're taking back our freedom, kicking down the door for the land of the brave. We'll stand forevermore. Together we rise, together we stand for the love of our country. We'll take command, no more division, no more lies. With hope in our hearts, we'll reach for the sky. I'm voting for an outlaw, a hillbilly too, America first, yeah, you know it's true. We're taking back our freedom, kicking down the door for the land of the brave. We'll stand forevermore. For the land of the brave, we'll stand forevermore. Together we rise, together we stand. For the love of our country, we'll take command. No more division, no more lies. With hope in our hearts, we'll reach for the sky. I'm voting for an outlaw, a hillbilly too, America first, yeah, you know it's true. We're taking back our freedom, kicking down the door for the land of the brave. We'll stand forevermore. For the land of the brave, we'll stand forevermore. For the land of the brave, we'll stand forevermore.
Okay.
Don't get me on that broad show, because you screwed everything up.
You know what? Live is what it is. It happens all the time.
Oh man, I am so sorry about that. But I can't be always perfect, honestly. I try.
Sure.
And this is a new format for us too.
Yeah, we've only been doing this for just a couple of months on this new format. I love it because it gives us a lot more interaction with our guests and everything. Before it was just Curtis and I and the picture in the middle.
Right.
But it's good to have this new format. And I mean, the internet capabilities are just expanding so fantastically. Like I said, I can just easily cut it in. And where can people find you?
rdturner.com. But my music's available on all platforms, Apple Music, iTunes, Spotify. It's everywhere. And it's on all video formats, Vivo and Tidal. A little bit, it's everywhere. So we've been real fortunate. The album's been doing well. And after the election, we will have a few more shows. We're doing some hurricane relief stuff in Nashville, Knoxville, Gatlinburg, a few places in Missouri. And then after Christmas, coming into the first of the year, we'll be going out on tour all the way up till summer.
And what's the name of your band?
It's R.D. Turner Band.
That's okay. I mean, I have to apologize because, like I said, your guy sent me the bio just last minute before I went on air, so I haven't had a chance to play it out. But I had a problem with my internet yesterday when I was uploading everything. So I saw it uploading, and I assumed it would upload completely. So that's my bad to not double check today.
That's okay.
But hey, can't be perfect all the time.
That's right. Absolutely. Totally
Well, all right. So we have to have you back on, and hopefully we can do that. Let's pray that Trump gets elected and we'll have their big on-air party. How's that sound?
That sounds like a winner. You know, I
Okay.
don't think people better wake up and realize we have 2 weeks. You need to get to the polls. You need to vote. Because
Yeah.
if you don't, in 4 years, you won't even recognize this country. So,
And absolutely, I
don't
still
recognize it now.
hey, me
It's
either.
hard to. It's hard to.
And try being a recording artist. And I'm used to, I wouldn't, I'd keep my political views to myself. But you see all these artists when Trump plays their music at his rallies, and then they get mad and want to sue him. So myself and several other conservative artists just said, you know what? Let's get together, let's do some things and give President Trump some music. So when I was writing this album, I did those 2 songs. They're Trump's. If he wants them, he can have them. He can have, if they sell, he can have any of the money from it. I just want to help him get to where he needs to be to help us with our country.
Well, they did the same thing with Rush Limbaugh. He had a song out, and the group, they didn't want him to sing their song, use that, for his theme. But apparently they worked something out because he continued to use it after a while.
Yeah, right.
Money talks.
Yeah, the thing about me is I don't have to go through somebody to get the rights. I wrote songs, all the instruments, all the vocals. It all belongs to me, and it belongs to him if he wants it.
Oh, that's such a blessed gift. Such a very great gift.
Yeah.
But I told the manager, I still run a tea party for 15 years.
Right.
And a friend of mine, she pulled up in the driveway to get some protest posters I printed up for our upcoming election here locally. And she was so proud of all the stickers she just got for Trump all over her vehicle. And as she's pointing them out, one of the stickers says, "I'm voting for the felon."
Right.
I said, I got a guy who just wrote that song and he's on the show tomorrow. But she says, "I'm voting for the outlaw and the hillbilly too." And I just loved it. And it's one of those songs that you kind of like snap your fingers to and you want to dance and sing it too. So it's got a great beat, and you knew exactly how to capture people with it, which is what I love.
I like to hear it one day.
Yeah, thank you. It's
when I'll go to your website.
Okay, that'll work. When I wrote the song, I sent the music to my manager, and then I sent the lyrics separately. And he was like, "No, you know what? Why don't you just use this as a regular song and not political, because it's got a really good beat. It's really a grooving track." And so I was like, you know what? I wrote it that way for a reason. Someone sent me a picture, an email that had a flag on it from this company called I Love My Freedom. And it had a big flag, and it said, "I'm voting for an outlaw and a hillbilly." And so I saw it and I thought it was cute. I went to bed, and about 2:00 in the morning, I sit straight up and I said, "I got it." And ran into the studio and started working on it and finished it out in 2 days. And then we worked for the next 2 days getting the video shot. So we're very happy with it.
I mean, isn't that something? All the great ideas usually hit you like in the wee hours
just
of the
like
morning.
that. Yeah, you can't force it. It's just got to be there, And so I've been blessed to be in this business for 30 years, and I've seen it go every direction it can go. And hopefully, hopefully our country as a whole will unite together in a couple of weeks and put our differences to the side and let this man do his job and get us back on track.
I pray. I do pray also for that.
Absolutely.
We're waiting for our next guest to call in, and it seems like he lost the link. So I'm trying to send it to him. So forgive me while I'm doing this. And I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. Put it that way. So Curtis, I'll just let me do this while you interview our guest, and let me just get this.
Tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into music. I mean, were you in like the school band or anything?
Yeah, in high school, I played sports. I played football. Even though I'm a short fellow, I played football, but I played baseball was my main sport. But where I went to high school, I'm from Mobile, Alabama, and so I went to Viger High School, which at one time had the #1 football team in the nation, not just the state.
Wow.
But we also had a monster band, and our band director was absolutely incredible. So I had band three times a day, and so in high school I had real long Jerry curl down to about the middle of my back.
Never heard that in a while.
Yeah, absolutely. And I played R&B music, and so I have worked with Tina Marie, Whitney Houston, Anita Baker, a ton of those artists, Mark Morrison. I could go on, and then I went through my rock and roll phase and played with a bunch of different rock bands. Then I went through the EDM phase and played with some EDM bands. And but when I formed the label, our company won the bid back in 2008 to buy Death Row Records when it was in bankruptcy.
Death Row?
And yeah. Mm-hmm. And so I sent you my manager sent you the bio, so they've got it. And long story short, Wide Awake Entertainment ended up buying the catalog out of Canada, but our label wound up being distributed by Universal Records. And I signed Little Mo, Lil Kim, Mark Morrison, and several, just 40 or 50 different artists. And it's just kind of evolved from there. So I've been in it ever since, and I've just been blessed. It has been an absolute blessing.
What celebrity musician have you met that stood out to you?
Okay, I'll tell you. I've been with just about numerous artists, but I'll tell you a story. So I get invited to Berry Gordy's house. This has been a few years back.
Motown.
Yeah. So I get invited to Berry Gordy's house. So a buddy of mine, he and I went to Barry's house, and there were so many amazing artists there. But the one that stood out the most was, it still blows me away. It was Stevie Wonder. And so Stevie and I are standing next to each other, and there's kind of that silent pause where we talked, and then there's kind of that, awkward pause. And we both have a glass of wine, and Stevie grabs my arm and starts singing My Cherie Amour, and I started crying like a schoolgirl. Yeah, it was something else. It was pretty amazing.
My Cherie Amour.
Yeah, unbelievable.
It is. Well, we definitely have to have you back again on the show and get it a little more organized. And I apologize. Like I said, your guy just got me last minute, and I had everyone. I'm shuffling people around, and as it turns out, my other agent didn't forward the link to my other guest.
Sure.
So, hey, that's what live radio is about. That's what live is always. You never know what's going to happen. You got to think on the fly. And I'm sure you've had it with instances where you've been on stage and just the wrong thing happens at the wrong time, and you've got to pick it up and keep on going.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can write a book on that. For sure.
Who's your favorite rock group?
Without a doubt, the Police.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's a good mix.
Yeah, I've seen just about every band on this planet, but I've never got to see the Police live. And I own every one of every song they've ever done, even individually. They've just always been my go-to. But my overall band that I listen to more than anything else is Earth, Wind, and Fire. I've got to work with them. I've got to work with Niles Rodgers, and I tell you,
Edwards, Chic.
Above being musicians, they're phenomenal people. And when you can, there's been more than 1,000 times I've stood in the room and said, "What am I doing here?" But again, I've just been truly blessed and at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, I like the Grateful Dead.
Yeah, I've got a few of their songs. I've got a pretty good collection. And moving into the country scene is because I have so many friends. I moved to Nashville from LA, and I have so many friends that play country music, and I listen to it, but I never really, wanted to play it. And my mother-in-law and father-in-law, when I wrote that song, God Save America, Trump Lead the Way, they were like, wow, and a lot of my friends were like, that's a really good country song. And I said, well, I'm kind of in that phase right now. Mm-hmm. So I locked myself in the studio, and 2 months later, I've got about 40 songs, chose 14 for the album, and I'm having the time of my life.
Well, that's the way to go. Be your own songwriter. You don't have to, rely on other people to write your songs and material.
Right.
You could do it yourself, and stay around longer too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a blessing. It really has.
Yeah. Do you think that maybe that this was the way God wanted you to go with country music rather than all the other genres that you had?
You know what? I do. And I have my older sister, Lynn, told me when I was 17 years old, she said, you need to go and play country music. And I was like, you got to get out of here. You're out of your mind. And about 3 or 4 months ago, when I finished the album, I sent her a copy of it, and she did the old big sister thing. I told you so. And she was right. I feel there's been many times working with various artists around the country and overseas, I felt out of place, but I felt out of place, but music pretty much comes second nature. So I was able to complete the task at hand. But now I finally feel like I'm in my skin. I'm in the zone and in the area I'm supposed to be in.
Yeah, well, Ray Charles and Charlie Parker, they were into country.
Absolutely.
They loved it.
Yep.
Well, of course, Charlie Pride.
Yeah, I know Charlie. I matter of fact, I had some drinks with him.
Wow.
Yeah, I had some drinks with him in Branson, Missouri. If you're familiar with Branson, it's cut out of the Ozark Mountains.
I know where the Ozarks are.
Yeah, it's cut out of the mountains. It's 150 theaters with shows every day, 7 days a week. It looks like Vegas, but no gambling. And so I met him there because I owned a restaurant there and a nightclub. And I met him there, and super good guy. Fantastic.
Is he still alive?
He is.
Good.
Unless he passed away in the last 2 or 3 years. Well, I hadn't seen him in a couple of years, but unless he passed away since then, I think
we're losing a lot of them.
We are. It's we lost Mickey Gilley this past like a year and a half, 2 years ago, and Mickey was a big influence on me in Branson. He was a phenomenal person.
Yeah, and we lost Toby Keith, but we still see him in the commercials.
We do. We do.
Well,
and that means that that was about a year ago.
Wow.
He
had stomach cancer, and and he beat it for a long time. But it what, I look at it this way. I believe God has a purpose in your life, and I believe when you're born, He knows when it's your time to come home, and until it's your time, you're not going anywhere. And so, that's the philosophy I look at. Is it's just like young men and women that are going off and defending our country, and thank God for them, and hope God blesses them and keeps them safe. But if it's not your time, you're not going anywhere.
You ever thought of doing any USO shows?
I'd love to do USO shows. I've done some in the past with other bands through the years, but I haven't thought of that. And I certainly am happy that you said that, because I will get that to my manager. I'd love to do a whole USO thing. I think
they're always looking for great talent.
Well, I think it would be fantastic.
And you being a vet, performing for the troops would have all the more meaning to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I know what it's like to be somewhere you don't want to be, or somewhere all alone. And when they do give you that little bit of entertainment or something, it means a lot.
It does. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You gotta give the troops also a little eye candy too,
Oh yeah. Well, Bob Hope knew what that was all about.
I guarantee he did.
He always had eye candy with him.
Yes, he did. Always.
Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, geez. Oh, yeah. Anne Margaret and oh, God.
Anne Margaret.
You're talking about, all the stuff that I grew up with. A little bit older than you guys.
He would bring the best of the best of the best.
But now you got females out there now. You got to bring some eye candy for them.
Absolutely. I guarantee you.
Well, are you going to be looking to do booking yourself a nationwide tour or something to get your band more widely known, or what?
Yeah, it'll be my agency's in Nashville, and I don't know if they'll put me on with another artist. I don't know how it'll work out, but it just works out. Every year it's been working out, and I play internationally. We'll do the majority of our shows will be in the United States, and we always do a few in Canada, and then we do Europe, like Switzerland and Germany, areas like that in London. And so, hopefully this will gain some traction with the new album, and we'll keep moving. If we don't, we'll be fine. We'll still keep moving.
Well, like I said, we definitely have to get you back with all the glitches worked out, and I'll make sure everything is uploaded properly so it plays. Because I had it keyed in a specific order because I wanted to end with that, and that would have been so much great. And unfortunately, my second guest did not show up, so it gave you extra airtime, so it gives you even more exposure. So,
And I really appreciate it. I do.
And I'm hoping that one day I can turn around and say, I knew him when.
Well,
and when I could only see half his face.
This thing, it's not adjusting the way I want it to. I have to muscle down on it to get it to move. And so, next time we'll have that set up a little better as well.
Yeah, that's not a red tongue sticking out. That is his microphone.
My microphone.
Yeah, don't get too big that you can't come back on the show now.
Oh, no. You know what? I've enjoyed myself today, and I'll love to come back at any time, and anything I can ever do for you guys, you let me know.
Yeah,
I deeply appreciate that. Hey,
your-
give me a show opening.
Yeah. Sing a song on your using your acoustic guitar.
Okay. You know what? The next time I come on, I'll have my guitar player here with me, and he and I'll play, and we'll sing, and I think you guys will enjoy it.
Oh, absolutely. Then we definitely have to have you on back soon. Roland, it has been a pleasure, and I'm sorry about all the screw-ups, but you lucked out in a way. You got a little extra airtime.
Absolutely, and I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. If you don't mind me telling them one more time, if they go to rdturner.com, you can see all the videos. This album will also be the first album in history with 14 songs on it. We'll have 14 music videos. We've got 4 already finished in the can and out in public. We've got another 6 that's done that hadn't been released yet. We'll have them all finished up before the end of next month.
Fantastic. Great. Look forward to seeing it.
Great.
God
All right,
bless you. And God bless and good luck.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. rdturner.com. Check it out up on YouTube also. Awesome. All right. I'm sorry about the screw up here, folks, but it can't be perfect all the time. We got about 10 minutes left, and it looks like we lost Gregory Wrightstone for some reason. There was a mix up on not getting the link to him properly. So I apologize for that, folks. One thing I wanted to talk about, if anyone saw the interviews that Kamala Harris did recently, especially the one on Fox News, Brett Baer, I was amazed at her. I'm trying to think of a proper word without saying something too insulting.
Filibustering.
The filibuster she had with Brett, that would be a good word for it. I was going to say her mode of behavior was she didn't answer any question truthfully. Mm-hmm. She skipped around them all. She kept on saying, when I'm in office. She has had almost 4 years now in office, almost a solid 4 years in office, and she hasn't done anything. She's the border czar, and she went to 200 miles away from the border. And that was her visit to the border. She went there recently, and it was more of a photo op than actually looking at what the problems were on the border. She was there for 1 hour and left. She was in charge of this some portion of the space program, the emergency, whatever it was for it. And yet we've got 2 astronauts stranded on the space station. And she's the one that was supposed to be in charge of the emergency procedures. Why are they still up there? Why didn't she do anything actively to help bring them back home? She has had all this time, and she talks about all the things she's going to do when she had all this time to do them.
I'm going to tell you what amazes me is that Kamala she talks as though she's new to the game when, like you said, she was in charge of it, or pretty much, had an influence, or should have been an influence to Biden on these policies and things. And she said nothing, but she was happy to say she was the last in the room to pass certain bills and things that was anti-energy and anti-freedom and things like that. She seemed proud of that. But now it's like, well, we're going to go down a new path now. It's not the same.
Yeah, and no one voted for her as the nominee. No one voted for her. The only one that gave him the vote was Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, and Joe Biden, being his arm twisted behind his back, forced to vote for her. The three people decided who the Democratic nominee would be.
True. Pelosi, Obama, and
Obama did not want her.
Well, you're right. Well, but he controls things behind the scene, though.
Yeah,
I don't know who he wanted. But she did Brett Baer a disservice. She should have gone a full hour.
Right.
Not only that, she gave him 30 minutes. She showed up late, so that made the interview even shorter. And a lot of people saying, well, he was aggressive, but he was just trying to get a lot of questions in the short time that he had.
Supposed to be. They're supposed to be aggressive to get the truth out.
But
the truth.
It was condensed, though, the time. And
she was 20 minutes
filibustering. Yeah. And she came late.
Minutes. Yeah. And she was at a university day before, right? A day after the Brett Baer interview, she was at a university. And when she was there was a pro-Hamas protest just outside. And she was supposed to have this meet and greet with the students with a presser. And the press was supposed to come in. Well, seconds before the press were supposed to come in to do the interview with her, as she did the answering question, the Q&A with the students, she canceled the press because there's a pro-Hamas protest out there and they're chanting that Kamala Harris is guilty of genocide. If she can't face that heat there, how is she going to face it in the White House as president?
Well, if you listen to the left media, she did great going on Fox News. She was a heroine. She showed that she had the mantle to take on Fox.
I'm sorry.
I mean, like, really?
I saw some people saying, oh, well, we're going to vote for Kamala Harris anyway. I mean, you see that she's incompetent. So you see that she has never done anything. Everything she has said that she stood for, that she's standing for now, are things that she was against prior. She was known to lock more black men up in her jurisdiction as Attorney General than any previous one for the very drug she wants to legalize and give to the black youth. I'm sorry. You're either for legalization of marijuana or you're against it. You can't be on both sides of the fence. And you can't tell me that... I'm sorry. It really gets my blood boiling. And one of the things I wanted to point out is Donald Trump was asked to name 3 things about Kamala Harris that he admires. And he did. He was very kind. I was very surprised to hear what was coming out of his mouth. He said she seems to have an ability to survive. Where is it? Goes.
I don't know if that's really a positive, but coming from Trump.
All right.
Gracious.
He said exactly this. He said, she seems to have an ability to survive because, she was out of the race and all of a sudden she's running for president. That's a great ability that some people have and some people don't have. She seems to have some pretty long-time friendships. I don't call that ability. I call that a good thing. She seems to have a nice way about her. I like the way she behaves in a certain way. He was being very generous about what he had to say. But then when asked about her feelings for Donald Trump, the vitriol that came out of her was stunning. And for someone who's only met him for a few moments on the stage before going into the debate, And that's all he met her, just a few moments. And he had nice things to say about her. He saw her campaigning. But then she comes out, every single issue they were asked about her that she failed to perform on as vice president, she turned around as something bad about Trump.
Well, she's playing to, her crowd. And that's what they want from her. They want to hear bad things. They don't want to hear good things about Trump from her.
Well, folks, we have run out of time, and I apologize for all the mix-ups and screw-ups today, but I got to admit that's my fault. That's my fault. Next week, we have our friend Mark Tapscott for the Epic Times coming back, and Leighton Gray will also be joining us. He'll be coming back on also. So we got great guests lined up for next week. I'll make sure there's no glitches, and we should get through free and easy. Thank you for bearing with us, guys. So with that, I'm going to say good night and God bless.
I'm praying for this land I love, America, America, the home of the free. But there are people making plans to change America. They've no respect for her or what matters most to me. That's why I stand for the flag and I kneel at the cross. Mourn for the friends I have loved and lost. And I still believe in God we trust, and the freedom our forefathers granted us. I hope it's not too late to save America. Do you hear our battle cry across America? We've got to rescue her. You know it's up to me and you to see the truth behind their lies. Don't change America. God bless America and the red, white, and blue. That's why I stand for the flag and I kneel at the cross. Long for the friends I have loved and lost. And I still believe in God we trust, and the freedom our forefathers granted us. I hope it's not too late to save America. For the friends we have loved and lost, and we still believe in God we trust, in the freedom our forefathers granted us. We know it's not too late to save America. Save America. Let's save America. Together we can save America.